I hear you. No, you're fine.
As we get ready to send kids back to school, we certainly want to be sure that their immune systems are strong. And the person I go to for all things nutrition and great ideas is Carley Smith, the Fairy GutMother. And look at the pretty spread she has for us today. Carley, what are you going to show us?
Oh, thank you, Natalie. So good to see you. Yeah. So, it's super important to be thinking about gut health as kids are going back to school. This is where nearly the entire immune system is located. So I have a lot of really fun and super simple, tasty recipes that kids are going to love that you can use to help maintain their immune system throughout the school year.
And we're talking about things we can pack in their lunches for school, also after school snacks, breakfast. But I've learned so much from you on gut health. It seems to be kind of a trendy thing, but it's more than trendy. Super important that we pay attention to our gut health.
Yeah, you bet. I mean, again, this is where nearly the entire immune system is located. So we really want to
Mm.
be thinking about, okay, what kinds of foods should we be incorporating, and not just for kids, but for families, just for all of us. What kinds of foods are the most important to make sure that we are optimizing the health of the gut? And one of the main things is fiber. That's honestly one of the biggest components of gut health, because fiber actually helps to feed the good bacteria in the gut. So really be thinking about at every meal and whatever you're doing, making sure that you're getting a little bit more fiber into that into your diet.
Give me some examples of that.
So one of the main sources of fiber that's the best for the gut is resistant starches. So they're just that. They're resistant to digestion. They break down in the large intestine by becoming food for the beneficial bacteria. So these are actually foods like potatoes, which people are really happy to hear about that. Everybody loves potatoes, but any just fiber in general, it's just fruits and vegetables. Grains are also a great source of fiber for the gut. So just be thinking about, foods in their most natural whole state, is always the most important.
Okay, so you've got some rice cakes in front of you, which I think of and I
Yes.
go, okay, cardboard. But what do you have that you're putting on the rice cakes?
Yes, definitely. But actually, there's a really awesome company that I love that's upping the game in the rice cake department. It's
Mm.
called Kapop, and they are actually a local Colorado company, and they're making them out of sorghum. So sorghum is another type of fiber that's again helpful in feeding the good bacteria in the
Mm.
gut, and they have all different kinds of flavors, and so you can really spice these up a little bit so that they're not just so boring. This one, I just did like these little personal pizzas, great for kids. It's like a healthier version of a Lunchable. So basically,
Oh, I love
I
that.
just took,
Mhm.
yes. So you can just take a rice cake. You can even take one of the flavored ones and then add a little bit of sauce to it, some cheese and some pepperonis. This is so fun for kids' lunches as well, because you can just pack these in little containers and then let them kind of play around, or a great after school snack as
And
well.
they can build it themselves, which is part of the fun, right?
Exactly.
Like a
Yes.
Lunchable. Yeah.
For
Okay.
sure. So, and then you can make a little PB&J stack, which is really fun, or you put some bananas on it and a little bit of honey and peanut butter. So, a lot of fun different ways that you can utilize the typical rice cake. And again, if you search in that snack aisle, there's a lot of different brands out there making really good quality snacks. Just check the ingredients, making sure that it's whole, ingredients, no artificial ingredients or preservatives. That's always key. And then just checking the sugar content as well.
When we're talking about the gut, and I want to get to a couple of your other cool looking snacks there because they look
Yeah.
yummy. Are there things that we are doing wrong? I mean, we want to incorporate the good stuff, but is sugar the main thing that is causing trouble in our gut, or what are some of the things we want to avoid?
Yeah, absolutely. So sugar is one of the biggest things that feeds the bad bacteria in the gut.
Mm.
So I tell people a lot of times, if you have cravings for bread, starchy foods, sugar, it can also be your gut talking. So your gut saying what it wants to eat. And that's those pathogens in the gut, primarily Candida. So once you can kind of get the bacteria in the gut under control, generally those cravings will subside. But sugar absolutely feeds the pathogens in the gut. And I do want to note that it's generally sugar in sort of that processed form, the processed
Mm.
foods. Sugar from fruits and natural foods, that's better for the body. So it's different. A lot of people think when they hear sugar to cut out fruit, and fruit also has a lot of fiber. So you kind of want to differentiate between the two of those.
You really have to listen. And then when your body is saying, I want chocolate, there are some better forms of that where you actually you
Exactly.
can feed that craving without
Yes,
it being the really sugary, or same with
exactly.
starches and things like that. So listen to the
Yes,
cravings, but then go for
you
the
bet.
better version of those cravings, right?
Yes, yes. And there are healthier, lots, so many healthier options out there. And like another one of the healthier ones I wanted to show you guys is this company called Olipop. And they make, it's a really healthier alternative to a soda. But they make all these different kinds of flavors. It's sweetened with natural fruit juice. I think there's only
Mm.
only 5 grams of sugar in one of these bottles, but it's all derived from natural fruit juice. So no artificial ingredients or preservatives.
Mm.
But what they're also doing is they're incorporating prebiotic fiber into their beverages. So this also has 9 grams of fiber. So it uses
Mm.
a fiber source from like inulin or chicory. Again, these are those prebiotic fibers that I was mentioning earlier that help to feed the beneficial bacteria in the gut. They have amazing flavors. This is this cherry vanilla. So I thought it'd be fun for kids for, an after school snack or a little bit of a treat to pour it over a little bit of ice cream. So it's
Oh, love
a
it.
cherry float. So delicious. And they have a ginger lemon flavor, a
Mm.
cola flavor, an orange flavor. So, I mean, just strawberry, vanilla, lots of really fun flavors. And again, there's just those healthier alternatives to more of those particularly
Yeah.
unhealthier options.
Where do we get those, online, or can we find them in stores?
Yep. So these are in a lot of different stores. I know Whole Foods. Just make sure you
Hmm.
can head to their website at Olipop and
Okay.
check where you'll find
Okay.
them available. But most health food stores, and you can certainly buy them online as well.
And I think that's a nice treat. I mean, one of the things I work on with my
Yes,
kids is like, you don't have to have a special drink with every meal. You don't have to have a
absolutely.
dessert after every meal. So instead of looking at it like replacing an every meal drink, it's like, that's a treat,
Right.
right? We can do
Yeah,
it as a
absolutely.
dessert or at after school
Right.
every once in a while, or yeah.
Yep. And then
Yeah.
there's a way that you can make it healthier too. So, just sort of looking for those brands that are taking it up a notch, and that way
Yeah.
you don't necessarily have to feel as bad, but you also have to have a balance in life. And so
Right.
this is just a great way to kind of meet on both ends, something a little bit more gut healthy, but a little bit more fun
Yeah.
and indulgent.
Can we balance out when we've made mistakes? Like, okay, so we indulged in something and we've fed that bad bacteria that you talked about. Can we compensate and like feed the good to, when we've had a bad day? Or is
Yes,
it just like, do
that's
we just need to move on?
no, that's such a great point. And I love talking about this because the gut can handle moderation. So the microbiome changes within 24 hours. So as long as you are eating healthier a majority part of time, that's really all that matters. So if you eat healthier, most of the week, and then, maybe you want to have dessert or indulge a little bit on the weekend, the microbiome will obviously change to reflect that. But as soon as you get back on eating healthier, come Monday, the gut will respond. The problem is when it's chronic. So the problem is when it's every single day consuming those more
Mm,
indulgent foods or those
hmm.
less healthy foods. And the reason is because over a prolonged period of time, when you have those overgrowth of pathogens, they end up teaming up together and they build this wall, or basically a biofilm, which makes it very hard for the beneficial bacteria to thrive. So this actually
Mm.
weakens the gut lining, which can contribute towards leaky gut. It makes it very hard for beneficial organisms to thrive in the gut. So it's when eating unhealthy over long periods of time is an issue. But once in a while, absolutely, the gut does not care about moderation.
I like to think of a lot of things in life with an 80-20 rule. And I don't know if
Yes.
that applies for you, but like if 80% of the time I'm really good, I am okay with that 20% indulging. Is that
Yep.
good for gut health?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. So I say the same thing, just as long as it's a majority part of time you're doing
Hmm.
healthier, that you can allow for that a little bit of flexibility within the week and, not feel bad about it
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. So you have some vegetables there on the side.
Yes.
We could put those in lunches, after school snacks. How do I make the carrots
Oh, yeah.
appealing to my 11-year-old son?
Well, so one of the things is to serve it with a really delicious dip. So I have a
Mhm.
hummus here, but I have a way to make hummus a little bit more kid friendly. And so traditional hummus is just chickpeas, again, another resistant starch that's
Mm.
helpful in feeding the good bugs in the gut. But I've blended it in with sunflower seed butter. So instead of
Yum.
using a sesame seed butter or a tahini, which is typical for a a hummus,
Hummus?
I blend it in with sunflower seed oil. So it gives it a little bit of like a sweeter flavor, but still, super gut healthy and fun and gut friendly. And kid friendly too, because it's got a little bit of that sweetness in it. So you can play around with some of those options.
So you make your own hummus, and I often buy it, but is it pretty easy to
Yes.
make?
Oh, super simple chickpeas, a tahini or a sesame seed butter. Or if you make a little bit more of a kid friendly version, you can do the sunflower seed butter as well. You could even do an almond butter, cashew butter. Again, you can play around with those different ingredients. Throw in a little bit of lemon juice, oil, sea salt. You can throw in garlic if
You're just putting it
you're
all in the
making a more
blender?
traditional. Yep, and then blend it all up until it's nice and smooth and creamy, and it's pretty simple to serve, great for storage. Another really great option for lunches for kids as well.
And when you say chickpeas, you're just getting a can of chickpeas. Does it matter the brand, or I mean, are there some that are better than others? I know you probably have your favorites.
Yeah, so when you typically to prepare chickpeas, it's best to soak them and then put them in your pressure
Make them
cooker
from
or
scratch.
instant pot. Yeah, exactly. But you can certainly do cans. The only differentiation between the two is that it's been said that it's a little bit easier for the gut to digest if you soak them yourself and then throw them in a pressure cooker and cook them that way. And if you do choose to do that, you can always cook large batches of those and then throw the remainder in the freezer and prep them that way. So that's kind of helpful that you don't have to necessarily
Mhm.
prepare them each time. But if you don't have any issues digesting fiber, then the can is fine.
Yeah, I'm going to try that though. I haven't done that with soaking, and then just, for me, it's all about planning and batching and having
Right.
enough. And so if we
Yes.
plan ahead, I want to make a spread that looks exactly like yours because it's so pretty.
It's so cute and it's so fun. This last one I wanted to talk about really quick too before we have to go is just a pretty basic. This is a berry basil probiotic smoothie, but you
Mm,
could do any smoothie. And I wanted to talk about it's a great way to get supplements into your kids' diet because these are just some probiotics right here. But if your kids are sort of averse to swallowing supplements,
mm.
you can always take these capsules and break them apart and blend them into smoothies. And that way it helps them to get that probiotic content. Now, the probiotics are really helpful. And again, repopulating the gut with those beneficial bacteria, which is helpful in just maintaining that strong and healthy immune system. So as the kids go back to school, you might think about incorporating some probiotics into their routine. And a great way to do that is just simply by blending them into a smoothie.
Where would you recommend? I see probiotics everywhere. Is there a
Mhm.
difference in the type and the quality of probiotics?
Yes, absolutely. So it really depends on who you speak to about this as well. I mean, some people say to switch up your probiotics. Some people say, you want to look for that's called CFUs, colony forming units
Mm.
in a probiotic. Sometimes people say the more the merrier. Look for the highest content of those. Other people might say no, you want a very small, select, concentrated amount. What it really comes down to is a personal preference and how that works best for you. So I tell people the gut is a thumbprint, it's completely unique to you. So you have to honestly be your own guinea pig in a way. Not, there's no one size fits all approach when it comes to gut health. So you have to kind of find the ones where which species of bacteria work best for your body and basically what your body needs. I always recommend though just starting out with the lowest amount of bacteria, so the ones that are just a little bit more specific, maybe only a few organisms in there, and then kind of work up from there.
How will you know? Like, will you feel it when you say what's best for you? Will you just feel more
Yeah.
energy or feel stomach ache if you have too much? Or I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's another really great question. So definitely how you feel after you take them. So if you are struggling with digestive issues, if it makes your tummy upset, or if you have diarrhea or any sort of complications, then you might need to back off a little bit or maybe try a different brand. But I always say just give yourself at least 3 days on that supplement. Give the body some time to adjust, and then over time, if you're still having issues, it might be the best to switch it up.
Okay. Such great information. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
you
good luck
bet.
to
Thank
all
you.
the parents and kids heading back
Yes,
to school. Let's start things off in a really healthy way. That's my tip.
absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks, Carly. I appreciate your
Yes.
help.
Thank you.